All right, so happy to have you guys here. I guess I just want to start off by asking you, here we are, summer 2008, approaching November. What do you think are the most important issues facing our country right now?
Oh, geez, there's so many issues that, from war to the environment to health insurance to, but I think the biggest issue, as I'm sure you know, is to get more different parts of the population signed up to vote so that we can really have the representative government that we're supposed to have. And so if we had young people and the ultra old, registering to vote, and that would make a big difference, I think. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else? I guess, so what would you say? I think there's a lot of young people out there who could be doing all sorts of different things. What would you say to a young fan who really cares about the music but doesn't necessarily think that being engaged in politics is relevant?
Well, I think that people don't, the system is set up. The nature of a democracy is that we can control our own government. We just did this thing in our set where we had the crowd control the music, which is the same kind of thing. But people, because they don't realize it, or because they're frustrated that all the candidates look the same, that they don't want to vote, or they don't realize that they have the power to take over the system. So I guess I would encourage people to learn more about the candidates and more about the issues, to register to vote, to just be a part of it, because all people have to do is take that grasp and then it's their country, and otherwise it isn't. And there have been phases that we've gone through where there really weren't any good candidates, where everyone was just speaking the same bullshit. But then came along Bernie Sanders in Vermont, and normally I don't get involved with political things, and actually Scott was in that band too. We did a Honky Tonk the Vote thing, which is a country band, and it was for Bernie, and I'm just so passionate about him, and he's an independent, but he supports the Democratic Party, and I've loved him for 20 years, so now we're going to do it again. Now we're going to do this free show in Vermont down by the waterfront in August, and so even though in the past and with Phish, we didn't really get involved with politics because our feeling was we're musicians, we're not politicians, and it's not completely right for us to say you should think as I think. But then the fans are saying, well, we want to know what you think, so at least don't censor that from us. If you like Bernie Sanders, we want to know about Bernie Sanders. We'll make our own choices.
Right, make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Make your own decisions.
Not to dictate, but to say, okay, well, to the limited degree in my little bubble that I've checked things out, I would like to see Bernie Sanders stay in office, and I would like to see Obama have a lot of luck, and I'd like to see a lot of people just. I don't think you have to make it, if you're not into politics as your main thing, you don't have to make it a round the clock thing, but just a little bit of responsibility to take over your country by just learning a little bit. All you have to do is go online and talk a little bit, and then all these different demographics that never show up at the voting booth at all can show up there, and someone like Bernie Sanders, who is an independent, against all odds, can become senator. So anyway.
Vermont, awesome. Well, I guess another question for you guys, being people on stage in front of a lot of different people, what challenges do you face or politically active musicians face in our day and age?
As being a performer on stage, well, I already made one challenge clear, which is sometimes not to mix music and politics for me. Some people will a lot more. Oh shoot, I failed at my challenge because my challenge was to remember to tell people to go to the headcount booth and to tell them where it was. And you know what? We didn't stop before the second to last song, so I couldn't. So I failed at my challenge. But just in little ways, just to say it's your country and make it that, vote and all that sort of thing. And otherwise, our real challenge is we've been a band for just 4 gigs now, and we're having so much fun with it, and there's also so much to learn with it. That's kind of it's a political year, and everything's gearing up toward November, and clearly that's a big focus, and I don't want to ignore that. But for me, it's also, for the first time in years, I have my own band and new album, and all kinds of exciting things happen. So it's all just happening at once right now.
Awesome.
It's in the stars.
Right on. That's great. Music for Democracy here, we don't just interview musicians, we also actually interview politicians. Yeah. So if you had one question that you'd like us to ask a politician on your behalf, what would that be?
All right, I'll just throw one out there randomly. Okay, here's my random question. I met Colin Powell a while back, and the one thing I didn't ask him is, do you ever sit down with someone like Noam Chomsky for like a couple hours at a table? That's my question, is why can't people with very opposing values sit down and share ideas? That's my question.
Do you have a question you would like to share as well?
No,
Tough
I don't know. No, I can't think of a. There's too many questions. Not enough answers, I think. Too many questions, not enough answers.
I guess, technology has been this whole new thing, especially in, amongst young people. We've seen social networking things come to light. We've seen, all the different viral capacities of the internet. Do you see technology changing the role in which musicians and politicians can communicate with young people?
Well, yeah, everything is changing. That group consciousness thing is happening electronically, and information passes very quickly. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it all out, because I wonder, with so many websites and so many blogs, if there's so much information that it's just as confusing as if we didn't have the internet in the first place. And I don't know what the answer to that is, but clearly it's changing, and the thing to do is embrace the change and see what it can do. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it all out.
Is there one issue that you'd really like us to focus on for you? Mike Gordon, what do you want to tell the world, an issue that matters to you?
Oh, there are a few issues, but healthcare is a big one for me. I would like to see. I know people who are living their lives just like in the movie Sicko, where they want the insurance company to cover it, and the insurance company is geared toward giving as little payment as possible, denying payment for health insurance in as many possible ways, and so something about the system seems a little screwy when that happens, and it's I argue with my dad, who's a big Republican, about whether it's true that in England and in Canada, whether people can go to the doctor's office and get treated quickly and have higher quality service and not be fighting the system. But so he doesn't agree that that's the case. But as in the movie, that's a big issue for me, because it just seems like if someone's dying of something and we have the technology and the know-how to help this person heal, then I think the government should be providing that, and the system, the insurance companies, whatever it is, the doctors, the hospitals, there should be an automatic system. So I'd like to see that addressed more.
As you can see now, we're in this big music festival here. What role do you think the music community, what role beyond just selling albums do you think that the music community has in putting together events like this that can raise awareness about all sorts of different kinds of issues?
Well, as I said, I can't give you the perfect rhetorical answer, because for me, there is a division between politics and music, where the way that it was put one time was, rather than music being the revolution, I would like the music to be the revolution in terms of we play in a certain scale and we revolt against that scale and play the notes in between the notes, which we just did, fortunately. And rather than the music being the political revolution, music to represent utopia or nirvana or the unknown that can happen once the political revolution, as a model, once the political revolution sorts itself out, and it's not such that 1% of the country owns 99% of the wealth. If things became more balanced and more fair, music, I think, can be a model for that. Rather than, for me, it's not about making a festival where every minute is talking about candidates and issues, if it's a music festival. So that's where I stand on that.
Thank you so much, Mike and Scott.